That's what she said.
Can't start her for what that's what she said when no one heard what she said.
It's none of their business. We started. That's what she said.
I swear you know the intro's coming and you talk over it deliberately. James, your light's gone.
I know.
All the ideas are just gone from his head.
Well, again, welcome to, what is this? Episode 17 of Rage Whale with Kev, Drew, and James. Before we start, I was just going to do another quick shout out. I won't do these every episode, but we had some really nice feedback. I went out for a meal with my work, and a person I hadn't told that we're doing this found out through other means, I guess. But anyway, Katrina Halliday said that she was enjoying it and said she would happily fall asleep listening to us. I don't know if that was a compliment.
Good or a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, she said it was great. She was enjoying listening to it. And obviously we've had a lot of chats to Arzu, who is an incredible poet and illustrator. And we genuinely really appreciate all her comments. She's really active. She's messaging us stuff and commenting on all stuff, and we absolutely love her for it. So thank you, Arzu.
This is her magazine as well, just to jump off the back of that.
I thought I said prostitutes then.
No.
Prosthetics.
Procetrics.
Prosthetics, a biography by Heather Mills.
She makes everything for the magazine. Like, she's incredible, helping other artists.
Whilst you're flicking through, flick through to your picture. Is that in that one?
That is in this one. It's by the very talented Kev Scullion, actually. So
shameless plug.
That's not me.
That's not you, but that bad boy.
That's my photo. Where's that? That's the stage door, the back entrance of what place?
That was it Dominion Theatre?
That's it, Dominion Theatre.
We will rock you, yeah.
In Soho. Yeah.
Good old days.
Another couple of quick shout outs as well is to a guy called Max King, who we don't know. He's a guy who messaged us on Instagram. He was liking our social clips, which was nice of him. And he does like horror reviews and stuff on YouTube as well, and socials and stuff like that, and he's really good. And he wanted to jump on sometime. So watch out, Max King. We'll get you. We'll get you.
We'll get you on the whale, bro. We'll get you on the whale.
And then Drew mentioned we're allowed to butcher this man's name, and
well.
Can you show me it first? Can you show me it first before we do it?
The bus. No, he's a wonderful poet and an amazing guy.
Show me the name.
I don't know.
Down a bit.
That's
Stephen. We'll ask the waffle guy.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that is the waffle guy.
Oh.
That's the guy that sent the. God, that sounds disrespectful if you didn't know what we're on about. So he reposted one of our clips on Instagram and he put waffles on it. Said there's good waffles and bad waffles, and this is
blue
waffles.
Well, basically he means the fact that we waffle on. Like, there's a lot of kind of randomness in amongst.
So yeah, that's to Stephen Buttigieg.
Waffle guy.
He's got a book out. Can I plug his book real quick?
Yeah, I'm trying to think there's an accent on it, like Buttigieg, like Stephen Buttigieg. Like, it's, I don't know.
Are you allowed to do a Belgium accent? Is that not on the ban list?
That was kind of a French accent.
Boom!
What's it called? Old and Unwise.
Oh.
Yes, I've seen that. That looks good.
Target audience.
It looks like I just killed the internet then.
What's it about?
That's cool. Does he do illustrations as well? That's a cool illustration.
No, the artist, oh man, what's his name? Poetical, I'm sure his details are in here. Yeah, Jude Lawrenson, answer. Poetic GLA is he's the art design work.
And
I like the picture.
Yes,
that's cool.
Man.
And Stephen is obviously a poet as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's amazing. So not only a great written, but also spoken word. So yeah, his book is available, guys, on Amazon and other places.
Yes.
Creepy, cringy. But but support Steve.
We We did speak now, Drew, because you froze, but I know that we won't froze in the edit, so that's why I didn't speak.
We were all defrosted.
One last plug, a final plug, and this is for people looking at us as well, is this one.
Ooh.
Better not be a butt plug, because I'll be leaving this conversation.
Well, that'd be confusing if that was just brought up.
If you just went down to do your laces up, then I would have turned my phone off.
This is See You Tomorrow, Baby, a vinyl by Western Super Mame.
Oh.
Mame. It's more metally, and it's like by Tom
Quite like the cover.
And Seth Dittrich, and it's incredible, technical, aggressive metal. So if you like good music, Western Super Mame.
To everyone listening, Kev is still a metalhead and still has a wallet with a chain, I bet.
And I'm wearing a Better Lovers t-shirt, and the Better Lovers just released a new song out today.
Kev, is your wallet still attached to a chain?
Never was.
You sure?
I wasn't that. I wasn't that guy. That was Nemo, I think.
I remember Kevin telling me, he's like, I went to see a strapping young lad, and I was like, I just pictured like some kind of sweet person with a side parting, like strumming a little ukulele.
You need to clarify that.
But it's like the most hardcore thing I've ever heard. Like,
that's you making it sound worse.
No, I don't mean like that. He wasn't doing weird things with the ukulele. I meant it is hardcore metal, right? Screaming like,
right.
What you want?
Sort of, yeah.
Sound like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Strapping Young Lad is the vocalist is Devin Townsend, who is he's operatic in his vocals and then death in his gutturals. He's got the whole range. He's one of the greatest singers of our generation. And he used to be a band called Strapping Young Lad.
There you go.
Fandabby Dozy. Fandabby Dozy. I said Fandabby Dozy a couple of episodes ago. I don't think I've said that for years. And then
you remember when you used to say Scottish sausage sandwich?
I used to say Fandabby Dozy. Crankies.
Yeah, Crankies.
So Kevin got me into square sausage, which is the best sausage.
And not a euphemism.
Planet. Huh?
Not a euphemism.
No, it's like it was like two sausages were in somebody's back pocket and they sat on them on a bus.
Not sounding good.
And it was just a beautiful sausage. And we used, whenever we meet up, we'd be like Scottish sausage sandwich.
So you used to meet up and share sausage with each other, is what you're saying?
Well, Drew came on holiday with me and my parents. He came up to Scotland with me. How did we get there? Did we get the train? I can't remember.
He's gone again.
Drew's done a Frozen. Maybe Drew should put back on his airplane mode.
Maybe Drew's got my in there.
You're back, Drew. You disappeared.
No, you guys left me.
Yeah, that's
no. There's two of us and there's one of you.
We froze you. It was your signal.
Yeah, but technically, guys, we're all going to be fine, and this is irrelevant for the people listening.
Yeah, no, exactly. But
speaking of technical difficulties, by the way, the Barclays app was down this morning, hence why I couldn't pay Drew for his book. But Barclays, sort it out.
Oh,
okay, cool.
Have you paid for the website? Because I've not had a notification from Monzo.
Yeah.
You said you've done a direct debit for the first of the month.
I lied about that. Yeah, no.
You sneaky.
Do it today.
How much is it again?
£7.70.
Okay, if everyone's wondering how much it costs to do all this stuff, £7.
$7.70. It needs to be there before the weekend because that's when it comes out.
Okay, I'll do it in a minute.
That's what she said.
And regular.
Ha. That's what she said.
The only thing I was going to mention before we talk about films is that if you remember last week, I mentioned that I was going to go to the Empire podcast. The Empire, the film, the movie, Empire magazine.
Yeah, I didn't click that it was Empire magazine for some reason.
It's the magazine. No, but it is the magazine. They're the same people who do both.
Yeah, I didn't click. I just thought it was some random podcast you were watching called the Empire Podcast.
What, and they're just massive fans of Star Wars?
Yeah, something like that, maybe. But I just didn't click until I saw the photos and was like, because I completely forgot Empire magazine was even a thing. I mean, when was the last time you bought a magazine?
Mate, I love their magazines, man. Empire magazine, I mean, it was like £5 something, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
How much?
£5 something.
Not that much. It's like £3.
Yeah, but it's free when you go on empiremagazine.com or .co.uk, whatever it is.
But technically you can't anymore, because whenever you go online, you'd have to fill out loads of details before you could read the
I hate
full
that.
article on something.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I was
That's
watching.
why you see, man, support the films. You know?
I was watching a program.
They're not supporting the films. They don't make films.
The critiques.
Yeah, that's a good point. But support the people that support the films.
I was watching TV like on BBC at the moment. They've got a series called A Life in Pictures, and it's got like a famous person, and it's like 10 photographs from their history. It's really interesting. Like, got John Lennon, Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee, lots of random people. And I was watching one the other day with Sadie, and Helen O'Hara, who is one of the people from the Empire podcast, was on there talking about them because they were in films, which is really odd because I've never seen her before, and I listen to her every week on this podcast. But they had a live one, and they're doing a run around the UK, and the last date was in Salford, so Manchester. So I went to that one, and it was good. And it was Helen O'Hara, Chris Hewitt, and James Dyer, and it was good fun. I thought it would be really strange. I've never been to a podcast live before, and I thought it'd be really weird. It was a bit odd because it wasn't live music, and I was just sat there watching. And it's not a comedy show, even though they're funny. But it's strange when you're just watching and listening and going,
Odd segue on that one. You mentioned Bruce Lee.
What?
Talking about Bruce Lee, I believe it was the anniversary of Brandon Lee's death a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
31 years, is it? 30 years?
Something like that. I can't remember now. But yeah, you're right.
Obviously, when I say the other day, that's relevant to when this was filmed.
Well, they about a couple of weeks ago, there was loads of Crow stuff on the internet because obviously the trailer, we've talked about that.
No one gives a shit about it, do they?
And even the original director of The Crow has come back and said, look, the fans don't want it. It's got one of the worst rating of a trailer ever because the fans are rebelling against it so bad.
Have you not noticed, though, that since the trailer dropped, like, because I watch a lot of my content on YouTube, so naturally get this stuff fed through my feed or on, I don't know, TikTok or whatever. And I've seen literally nothing about that film since
Scott,
the 2 days the trailer came out. Like, no one cares.
Do you think it's going to go straight to like streaming now because people won't get their asses to the cinema to see it?
No, it'll come out and I will go and see it, but it will be disappointing.
It won't. The only ones that go straight to streaming tend to be a lot of the time, especially for Netflix, are actually funded by Netflix.
Yeah.
So Netflix actually produce films now or back them. I think Prime are going down the same route. Because if you watch a Netflix movie, it will come up with the dun at the beginning.
And that's
have like a Netflix documentary, Netflix movie, blah, blah, blah.
And that's what's good about Disney as well, because Disney bring out films onto streaming really quick. Like you said the other week, a couple of weeks ago, in fact, Poor Things is already on there.
Didn't realise that was a Disney film.
And they just brought out a new one I watched yesterday called, what's it called? The Last Goal or something? It's called Next Goal Wins, the one by Tiger.
Oh, yeah, with Fassbender.
Yeah, and Fassbender. It's meant to be awful, and I watched it, and it wasn't great, but it was enjoyable. It was pleasant.
Be interesting to see the numbers. The numbers Disney are pulling, because I've noticed they're constantly giving away free memberships, and now they've actually dropped it to $4.99 a month.
I think Disney's good. I think Disney's got loads of quality stuff. People think Disney
Netflix is very expensive now.
Yeah, and I still want to keep Netflix because annoyingly they've got all the rewatchable stuff like The Office and Schitt's Creek that I'll watch a million times. But
you get extra value with Prime that you get Amazon Prime. And I like on Amazon, you can have the subcategories like Paramount and Lionsgate, stuff like that. And Paramount actually has a bunch of stuff on it now. It's really worth the money. They're really sort of putting a load of stuff on there. But Sky must be bricking it because Sky are losing everything, aren't they?
I was going to say, can I go stupidly off topic? From this angle, not that if you're watching the audio it won't make sense, but I look like I've got an earring because of the door handle.
Oh yeah, that stupid door handle's causing problems today.
But yeah, that's just a random.
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just a little reminder to say, check out our social media handles and follow us on Instagram and TikTok if you're not already. If you enjoy this podcast, why not share it with friends? And better yet, rate the show. thanks for your time. Now, let's get back to the mayhem.
Yeah, no, I think Sky is on its last legs now because they're losing sport to Amazon. Netflix are launching a live service soon, so they'll start pinching football, stuff like that. Then they've also lost the exclusivity to all these shows that, like, how much is Sky Movies? Probably about 15, 16 quid a month. That's more than all of the streaming services, and Sky Movies ain't that good. Sky Sports is like 20 something quid a month. And you can get sports now on a lot of them, like football, tennis, that's on Prime. Netflix, they're going to come in for the sports. Netflix have just got, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's a massive show. Netflix are actually got WWE as of next year. So that's a huge set of programs taken away from Sky again.
If I'm right, do you know what else they got? They got the Mike Tyson fight.
That's going to be their first thing they stream live, I believe.
So Sky's no longer the limit.
Well, no,
Sky,
Netflix,
I think,
not doing pay-per-view on it. It's going to be live, and it's not going to be a winner or a loser unless there's a knockout. So, like pay-per-view, I think they get paid for. Like, you can bet on certain things where this is just live. They get a set fee, I think, and then it's not a winner on points. It's just if they knock each other out, that's it. Otherwise, it's a draw.
I think Sky's business model will move towards the Now TV.
Right.
Which obviously is owned by Sky, where you get a box and you pay for your packages that way, and it just streams. Because the new Sky Q box is all streaming, the new box they send. So there's no more dish, it's all streaming. So they've lost the only advantage they had, which was if the internet goes down, you can still watch Sky. That's gone now. So now they've got no advantage over anything. Because even the recording thing, you don't need to record anything anymore, do you? Because it's all on.
Isn't there a Fire Stick? Have you heard that some of these streaming places have Fire Sticks now? So it's like a USB that you stick into your TV.
They've been around for years and years and years. Amazon Fire Stick, long time. It's basically turned your TV into a smart TV, but they're kind of redundant as a product now. Unless you want to break the law with them and jailbreak them, they're redundant. Because if you buy a new TV, it's got all the apps on it anyway in an app store. So, like when I bought my TV, I could just download Now TV, BBC iPlayer, you name it, and it's just an app. So those sticks and
with what is that, Rakutu or whatever? Roku
as well. They're kind of redundant as a thing because, like, I bought a Roku box for my old TV. You plugged it in, you get all the apps. I got it for Now TV because now Roku made the Now TV boxes. But once you get a smart TV and you get the apps anyway, you kind of don't need those things. They're cheap anyway. I think it costs like a tenner, 20 quid or something.
We're going into the weeds of really boring technical. I'm losing the will to live. Never mind.
I was going to say, let's make James happy though. Like, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, it's now on Disney already, or it's just about.
What, Across the Spider-Verse, is it?
No, Madam Web.
Oh, wait,
that doesn't make James happy. No, I meant there's the short 7-minute or 9-minute thing that Kevin shared.
It's 7 minutes with all the credits. It's left 6 minutes.
But how fucking good is it, man? Have you seen it, James? They made a short film in the same kind of like world of the Spider-Verse, right? With Miles Morales and his dad. But it's kind of more based on like mental health and problems and overcoming things and talking to.
Fucking hell.
No, but it's amazing. It's actually amazing.
I'm glad it's only a short film and not the actual film because some of these films are getting.
Not a film. It's a short clip, a 6-minute. It's not.
I'll take that. Yeah, that's good.
But it looks like they're raising money for a charity, right, Kevin?
Yeah, I've sent it to James. He's got it in his.
Disney are taking the piss if they're raising money for a charity. They've got a lot of money they could just give to charity.
Well, it's to do with like mental health and like.
I think it's raising awareness more than money. Yeah.
And it's more than just even superheroes have mental health problems because like he's got a lot on his shoulders.
It was good because it's important that people know. Like, I mean, everyone knows now that the way people say this sort of thing. Just speak to someone. It's easier than it sounds. But it's not. It's not as easy as it sounds. But the film is saying, like you just said, it's even superheroes need to chat to someone.
Yeah, and I like that.
Your dad's friend or whatever. I think it's an important message because this is going to be watched by kids, and I think it will open their eyes to a few things, because we adults can say it, and loads of TV programs can say it, but if a cartoon aimed at kids says it, that's probably going to hit a wider demographic that's necessary. So yeah, it's good. So thanks for pointing me on to that, Drew. 6 minutes of your life, and it was really good.
I'll take 6 minutes of Spider-Man any day of the week.
The animation is a bit miserable. So good, and the music though, man, how good is the music and the sound effects and like it's
proper Miles Morales. It's proper Spider-Verse stuff.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Here's a segue then. Speaking about music, the soundtrack in the new Godzilla Kong film that went well. We didn't all go to see it the weekend, Drew, but a few of us did. What a soundtrack that had. That was like rivaling Marvel stuff.
Oh, it was quality.
Like the music in it.
The first question I'm going to ask is to James. What did Reef think of the film? Our opinions are relevant. How old's Reef now? 6? 7?
No, he's 5.
5? Fuck
yeah.
He's a little man.
He's a little dude.
Okay, so
yeah,
James
probably
Reef.
a bit small to go, but you know.
Do you put him on a booster?
He loved it. It was probably about as long as a film could. I can't remember how long the film was, but it was probably as long as a film could be for him. He was getting a bit tired at the end of it.
Yeah, it was almost 2 hours.
Yeah, he was getting a bit tired, and the problem isn't. It goes back to my main issue with cinema. My main problem, and I might be wrong, this might exist, but they're missing one of the biggest tricks going, is have 2 times, door time, film time. Because we were in there for 35 minutes before the film friggin' started. So that 2-hour film is nearly 2.25 hour film, 2 3/4 hour film now.
Well, you need to arrive 15 minutes late. That's an appropriate time where you're going to miss most of
Or they could just tell us when the film actually starts. Like, why is that not a thing?
James. Like, Kevin always kills it, man. He arrives just as it's the trailers and then straight into the film rather than all
But imagine if you did that on TV. You're like, right, so-and-so's on at 9 o'clock. Brilliant. You sat down with your coffee and it's like 35 hours of trailers go on. It's like, what's going on?
My drive to my cinema, my local cinema is the big IMAX one, and it's like maybe 7-8 minutes drive, just casual, short drive. So when the film starts at 6, I leave the house at 6. And I walk in and the first trailers begins. I love the trailers. I don't want to miss the trailers, but I want the 10, 15 minutes of adverts to piss off. So
there was a trailer for Godzilla at the Godzilla film.
Well, that's ridiculous.
What?
Right. We'll get your mate on from Andover Cinema and he can explain that.
I was like, why are they showing an advert for this? It wasn't a full-length trailer. It was an advert. I was like, why is this even on? Like, I can't. What was the other thing I did have that was a bit questionable.
Turn off your phone? Like, don't be noisy like Godzilla and King Kong. Turn off your phone.
No, it was an actual thing for the film. What was the trailer? There was one trailer that came on that I thought was a bit like borderline for him, but I can't remember what it was now.
Was it a horror? Or was it the vampire one, the ballerina?
Oh yeah, Abigail.
No,
Abigail.
No, it wasn't that. I can't for my life. But I remember watching it being like, "Ooh, is he gonna be all right?" But he was fine. Like it went on a bit long for him, but like we were there for like half hour, 40 minutes, sort of stupid thing started. But he loved it, and he'd been talking about it. He's a bit of a weirdo because he was like, he's been drawing pictures. I'll send you some of the pictures he's been drawing of Godzilla and King Ghidorah and all that lot.
Yeah.
But he was super psyched for Mothra to be in it. But he was like, his favourite person in Godzilla is like Rodan.
Who's that?
I'm like, exactly. I'm like, who is that? And he's like, oh, he flies out of like a volcano and like sets things on fire. I'm like, what? So he's watching all these videos and he's like, oh, I think he's in King of Monsters, like, which is, I think, one of the ones with Millie Bobby Brown in. I think there was Godzilla King of Monsters and then Godzilla versus King Kong.
Millie Bobby
and she was
Brown,
in that as well.
I love her in Stranger Things, but she seems like the most annoying person. Maybe she's grown up a little bit now, but a couple of years ago, Millie Bobby Brown.
She comes across a bit irritating, doesn't she, if I'm honest? Yeah, bit sort of like, look at me sort of thing.
Do you have one of those like aeroplane pillows for Reef in case he falls asleep in the cinema? So you could just...
No, he was just leaning on me. He was just leaning on me half the time. But
I like the picture you sent, which we've put on our Instagram, which has got... He brings his little Godzilla with him.
Man.
He's got his toy Godzilla
one of many.
drink.
So, do you know what toy he wanted at the weekend? He got some money for his Easter, and the toy he wanted was Warbat.
What's that?
Wombat.
Warbat off one of the gods. I don't know what film it's in. I think it's the film that where King Kong gets attacked in this river and this big sort of snake with bat wings comes out. And I don't know.
Oh, that
where he gets half his stuff from.
Oh, right. Wait a minute. Well, we'll go into a bit of Godzilla, but can you just give me, what did Reef think? Was it thumbs up, thumbs down? Was he?
Yeah, no, he loved it. He loved it to the point where he found it on he's been looking for it on Prime and that. I'm trying to explain to him it's not on there yet.
Oh.
But no, he really enjoyed it. But that's what I was going to say. He's been watching.
It's a genius.
He's been watching loads of videos of like when people make music videos to like a film, they'll put loads of scenes from the film in and that.
Yeah.
With like rock music. He's been listening to loads of like Skillet and like Fall Out Boy and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And now that's the music he likes listening to.
Yeah, because it's associated.
Like sort of new metal.
Good on him. Well, the bit I thought was the funniest was like, because Drew, you've seen the trailer at least, yeah?
Yeah, the trailer's amazing. I was going to talk about the trailer actually, but
so the trailer for Godzilla, the bit that I feel like gives too much away until I saw the film, and then you realise it doesn't.
Oh,
is this a spoiler? I don't think it's a spoiler because it's just an action film where people, instead of people beating each other up, it's just monsters.
Spoiler alert! Skip forward a couple of minutes.
Everyone hits each other. This isn't going to spoil anyone. It's just a bit of a surprise.
Sounds like Roadhouse.
It was a bit of a surprise. I was like, whoa, and then loved it because it's so funny. Is the bit like in the trailer where it's where he's approaching the fog and there's the silhouette of the massive monkey. He's like, oh my god, and King Kong King Kong's coming to the fog, and there's a bigger gorilla than him. He's like, oh shit, and then he gets closer and it zooms down and it's actually a little baby King Kong with the little ginger orangutan-y.
Like the one from The Lion King.
But it's only up to his knees, and it's like a little cute one that goes, and he's like, and you think, oh, it's a cute little one, and then you think that's going to be developed in a film of him making friends with this little one. In the actual film, James is smiling because he knows what's about to happen.
Kevin speaks monkey.
This little monkey comes along, and it's like friendly, and King Kong lowers his guard and goes, "Ah, little monkey," basically, and then loads of bigger monkeys attack him from the side. He's the distraction, and you think, oh, he's just going to be cute in the little kid, and it goes feral and attaches to his face like a face hugger, starts scratching the shit.
Initially, Kong puts his hand out and he bites his finger, but then he picks him up by the tail and starts hitting the other gorillas with the little baby.
Picks up this baby monkey, ape or whatever you want to call it, by its like foot or tail or whatever, and uses it as a club and starts smacking the other monkeys around the head with this little baby monkey, and you're like, Jesus, this is so harsh.
But the baby monkey does save the day at the end of the day.
Yeah,
the baby monkey flips and turns good.
Love with the little baby monkey because it's a little cute baby monkey, and he uses it as a hammer to beat the crap out of other monkeys. And then he launches the baby monkey, throws him like 100 foot into like just a pile of rubble or whatever. And then you're like, Jesus, that was harsh. But yeah, they become friends.
There's a couple of light-hearted bits. There was one bit that I thought.
James, your voice is gone. Drew,
you made him
very
Well, I actually thought it was quite fitting with monkey, actually.
You waiting for that? You planned that banana.
You nana, top banana.
You're a sicko.
What?
Who eats bananas when we're talking about King Kong?
No, but now you just made it very inappropriate, man. Now you've made it like this phallic, strange fruit.
Really inappropriate. At least eat up that. Not.
No, but that's even worse, man.
They're all.
Now, how do you eat a banana? Well, how do you actually eat a banana without it feeling?
Put it on a plate, chop it up,
perverted.
Little discs.
Yeah, I don't have time for that, man. I don't have time for that.
Or squelch it onto bread and have a banana sandwich.
Some banana.
Banana.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Well, this is almost like a fun interlude. While we wait for James to come back. James is famous for leaving, right?
Yeah.
Even though I'm actually missing from a few episodes, James is missing from a massive percentage of 17 episodes. Like
100%. But yeah, I mean, if I were you, I mean, I don't think Godzilla's really up your street as anything that you need to go and see right now. But you got free tickets. Go and do something.
I know. I need to go, man. I need to get my ass on a seat and
It
watch
was
some films.
more enjoyable than a lot of films I've seen recently that are more highbrow. It was just.
I'm just really glad that Reef went as well. Like, it was a really nice little father-son moment for those two. And
Yeah.
Reef's such a cool little dude, isn't he? With all this like action hero-y kind of all these different get-up, man.
Well, that's it. We won't say it while he's here, but yeah, James is a good dad, and I think he's fun dad. I think he is.
He's the kind of he's the kind of cool dad that you'd always be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool that my dad was like that kind of dad, and he's that kind of dad.
And I was trying to explain it to my parents because my parents know him, and I was telling them that he's got a kid and he's really good, and my parents are like, James, the guy that used to live in our house, that James. I was like,
used to climb the roof.
James, he's great. This kid. He's like, they're like, but what, a real his kid, like a kid. I'm like, yeah. He's like, really? I'm like, you've asked the same question 5 times. He has and he's brilliant. And they're like, oh no, we love him, but that's thrown me.
Like, but it's like he was like Johnny Knoxville, like doing crazy shit in your house. So you can't imagine him as being like this good dad that's kind of got all this shit together, and
Well, that's why my friends back then used to call me organized dad or organized fun, because I had to look after James, because if I didn't, James would be in trouble or dead by now, because I had to make sure he survived a night out.
So Reef needs to thank you secretly. The reason he has a dad still because of you, or the reason he's alive.
I'm Reef's grandpa.
The reason he's actually there. Are you his actual godfather?
No.
Godfather. No?
Godfather.
Okay. The Godfather. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Okay, here's a cool thing. maybe I won't repeat it when James is here, but so I found something called Movie Mantis, right? On Instagram, right? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, James joined us. This is cool. But this is actually hilarious, right?
Yeah.
So this is Movie Mantis. And they say they've got all these different films, right? And they say if you watch The Dark Knight backwards, the Joker saves a burning stack of money, gives it to the mob, and pulls a pencil out of some guy's eye. I guess he's not a bad guy after all.
Movie Mantis, I've followed.
Yeah, and then it's like, then there's one for Fight Club. If you watch Fight Club backwards, you see Edward Norton turn from a crazy street person into a successful and productive member of society. But there's loads of them, basically. If you watch Castaway backwards, it's exactly the same film. If you watch 127 Hours backwards, it's the uplifting story of an amputee who finds an arm in the desert, attaches it, and discovers a love for biking.
I've just thought of a really good one.
Go on.
If you watch Schindler's List backwards, Hitler essentially brings back millions of Jews back from the dead.
Wow. Hitler is, he's resurrects.
That's getting deleted.
He's basically Jesus.
That's
quite a good game, actually. What backwards films? Should we get back onto Kong anyway? Sorry about that. I had to take a quick call.
If you watch Memento backwards, it makes more sense.
The thing I was going to say about Godzilla
2 seconds.
Earlier is
have you ever seen a film that's filmed backwards?
Yeah. What was that?
Irreversible.
A French film.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's horrendous.
Savage, isn't it?
That's something we should have a horror special, but it's going to be a disgusting one.
With Mike. You could get Mike in on that.
You mean Max King?
Max King. Sorry, dude.
That film is brutal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not. It's disgusting as well.
Yeah, it's fine.
You might have seen my knees, and I got really hot, so I had to take my trousers off again.
Of course you did.
Funny that.
It gets really hot in here with all these lights and stuff.
He's getting his wee actors are coming out. Did you see that?
Frank and Weenie.
That Godzilla is like one of the higher grossing films of the year already. I think it outgrossed June in its first weekend.
What?
Yeah. June's still ahead, but it has been out for like a month. June's on.
You got to think though, Godzilla's got a wider audience, I think.
Yeah.
Because it has the younger audience, which June kinda has, but kids are sort of excited.
370 million, and Godzilla's at 95 million, but domestically and worldwide, it is 210 million. But
Is June a
that's in
15?
1 week, not in however many weeks that's been.
Is June a 15?
Don't think so.
It's
Is it
nothing
me,
to do with
or
the
have I
age
not
rating, though.
actually
It's more
turned-
to the fact that like kids love monster films. Like,
No, for
like
sure.
a 6 or 7-year-old's probably not going to be like, I really want to watch June.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
June.
too in depth. There's too
June's
much
niche.
thinking going on.
But it seems now that I haven't really seen like a lot of the age appropriate symbols on films recently. It's like every
It's
film
very
is
hard to
trying
get an
be a
18
12.
rating now.
Yeah, every film is trying to be a 12 almost, so that they can get a bigger audience.
Yeah.
Well, if you think they have to, because their only market is the cinema now. There's no aftermarket anymore.
That's
Yeah,
so true,
They
actually.
don't have DVD sales later on and stuff like that, do they?
No, there's nothing. So that's why they always have these big actors in. You like Matt Damon did an interview. I might have already brought this up, saying that cinema. The reason cinema's not dead but going that way is because you're never going to get another Reservoir Dogs, because
that's
the
heartbreaking.
studios can't take the risk on putting a bunch of not massively known actors in a risky movie that could go one of either ways. You can't risk it anymore.
Except this brings on to our next subject really as well, because you're correct. The majority of studios will not. They'll only green light boring films that we've seen a million times, like Marvel and stuff like that. That's where we're getting the fatigue and they're losing money and they're not putting as much effort into it. But A24 Productions, which I've banged on about before, are
They do excellent.
smacking out of the park. They're doing all the interesting films and they're putting money into it. And do you know what they're doing? They're doing the same as what... Mute yourself, filthy bastard.
Are they the ones that did X?
Yeah, they've done loads. But right. So here, this is the point: is that like when Netflix started, and they still do it to a degree, is that when they greenlight programs, they give the filmmakers carte blanche. They obviously get to review it beforehand and may make some suggestions, but that they let them do what they want. A24 go even further and give people many millions, say go make the film, even if they don't have the biggest track record, because they trust the filmmaker.
That's what's amazing, because they don't kind of like put their oar in. Basically, they allow the full creativity, like you were saying. A perfect example of that is Animal Kingdom. I can't remember the name of the director at the moment, but he also did The Rover with Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson. And that guy is really going places, man. If I just
Kev, just quickly while he's looking at that, name any A24 film. First one that comes to your head. Don't think of the biggest or the best. Just think of the first one. Anyone?
Civil War.
No, this has been out already, not a new one.
Animal Kingdom.
Dream Scenario.
David Michod.
I don't know what you're saying.
What? David Michod. Well, this guy.
That doesn't mean anything. What are you talking about?
It's connected to A24, man, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, when you're talking about A24, you've got films like Hereditary, The Lighthouse, Everyone Everywhere All at Once, Midsummer,
Loved it.
Lady Bird, Uncut Gems, The Lobster,
Kev.
Swiss Army Man, hold on, The Disaster Artist that you liked, Ex Machina, The Whale, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, X, Pearl, Marcel, The Witch, Moonlight, Good Time, Green Room, and Room. And, mate, there's so many. Men, Maxine.
Well, just a quick one.
Euphoria.
Those two you mentioned, Dream Scenario and X.
Let me just smack
I think
you
Kevin
down.
wins.
Zone of Interest.
Oh my god, it's never ended.
The Zone of Interest, Iron Claw, Dream Scenario, Beef. Did you watch Beef on Netflix? That
TV series.
amazing. Past Lives, Euphoria. That was obviously huge.
Yeah.
I could go.
Is that the TV series?
Yeah,
Euphoria.
Yeah. The one with Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, then two of the movies. I just picked two random movies you said. X, because I've heard of it in Dream Scenario.
Yeah.
Do you want to hazard a guess at their box offices? Because this kind of proves a point of why major studios won't take the risk anymore.
Well, it depends what they've spent on it as well. They're not going to be big earners, but they're
Well,
going
they've
to be
spent a
cheap
few
money.
million, haven't they?
Not really. A lot of these are very cheap. Civil War is going to be one of the most expensive productions.
Well, guess the box office of Scenario then. Dream Scenario. Just hazard a guess.
Not a clue. Haven't a clue. There's no point guessing. I don't know the context.
10 million.
Budget.
No, that's the box office.
That can't be right.
It's got Nicolas Cage in it, man. That was supposed to be a massive success.
It was one of the best
Budget
films
was-
last year. I thought it was one.
It said the budget was 10 million, the revenue was 14 million, so it made nothing.
That was a profit.
Well, it made
Yeah,
4
but that's
million.
nothing in like that grand scheme of things.
But it's a minor
Someone
film.
gave me 4 million. That is a very good day.
It's a small film. It's not a big film.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's why major studios will not do it, because they know it doesn't make money.
No, that's fair.
Because once you add the
But we don't-
budget,
I
you're
don't
then
see
adding
that.
the superstars and all that.
I do like some of the Marvel films, but I don't want to see Ant-Man 23. I want to see Dream Scenario, crazy, weird, psychedelic.
But unfortunately, most people don't. That's their problem. That's why like Warner Brothers aren't doing this stuff and that.
New film,
Yeah, that looks
Love, Love,
amazing.
Bleeding. That's A24. That looks amazing. There's loads of.
They are good, but you've got to remember, 99% of people aren't interested. That's why Hollywood aren't doing it. That's why you're not going to get
People
Warner
are
Brothers or
We should be interested, and people that I know that like film are loving.
Not
yeah,
necessarily.
but
What's that horror?
the numbers are just like
Talk to Me. That was a big hitter.
That was amazing, yeah.
Everything-
A lot of moviegoers, though. I mean, look, James is right. A lot of moviegoers are kind of hooked into the kind of roller coaster of superhero movies. But exactly what Kevin's saying is that we needed to have a kind of redux back into decent films. That's why Oppenheimer and Barbie, they were brave kind of films. But obviously it helped that they were made by such amazing directors that have such an interesting kind of take on a movie.
It was
well,
overkill.
Barbie doesn't really count because that's like one of the most mainstream movies ever made.
It was
Like,
overkill on actors that like they've got like 20 like lead actors playing background actors in these films.
Yeah, it is mental. It is absolutely mental. But
this is
interesting-
what
this is
the point I was making is you're not going to get.
A24, right? And Christopher Nolan are kind of the only branches now, because this is, I think, even something that Tarantino was saying. When Tarantino makes his 10th film, he kind of won't be able to make any more of those kind of films based on the economy of the kind of the situation with the way the movie scene is right now, right? Whereas with Nolan, he is a perfect example. With every film, he has just kept going up and up and up. Perfect example, right? Talking about budgets, The Dark Knight cost 185 million, and guess how much it made gross?
Oh, $500 million.
Yeah, $1 billion.
That's a good.
So it's like
Exactly. That's the point in it. Like think of Hollywood as a business. Say, Kev, you've got one business, Drew, you've got another. And you've got these guys come with these ideas going, do you know what? It's kind of been done before, but we're looking to make about $250 million. And you've got another guy going, I've got this idea. It's a bit risky. People might like it. They might not. You could stand to make about 4 million. You're not going to take the risk as a business.
No, I get it. That's the point, though. The point is the big production companies like Paramount and MGM and all these sort of things, they won't do it because they're big conglomerates. They need to have guaranteed return. And when it's a failure, it's big news. A24 are deliberately a small company that give a little bit of money to unique voices. They might make losses, they might break even, they might make profits that are really small and people don't care about, but ultimately they'll hit on something big occasionally that will change the zeitgeist of the
Talk to Me made quite a bit of money. I think that was a big hitter.
That was big.
They made it wait.
What the big? Yeah, The Whale. That was one of the biggest ones, and Everywhere All at Once. That they won Oscars. The Whale won Oscars. They had two films in 1 year from the tiniest production company in Hollywood. Got the Oscars for lead actor. Well, they won 3. They won what was it? 5? 5 for Everywhere All at Once because they got
he killed it.
They got lead actor, supporting actor, two supporting actors because.
But it got Best Picture, bro. It got Best Picture that year.
But it was she won for the main actor. He won for the supporting actor, and I was going to say Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Also won for supporting actor, so they won.
So they all.
Supporting actor and supporting actress.
Yeah.
So that was a killer, and The Whale obviously won as well because that was brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Would you remember?
they're better, more important than Marvel fucking.
Mate, I 100% agree. Do you remember this year at the Oscars when I can't remember who it was, but when they won their award, they said instead of spending like 200 million on one film, they're saying why not spend 10 million on like 30 films? And I was like, that's brilliant, because that's cinema. That's giving more and more unknowners a chance to create more interesting work that will hopefully bring in new crowds, because people, like you said, people are fatigued with the superhero franchise. You can only take it so far. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed some of that ride, but then it became a cash cow. And we need
films, can't you? You can see that people
like Civil War and some of these more bold films that are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of asking deeper questions about society and the situation.
I'm easy to please. I like some of these like we're talking about the other week with like Roadhouse and what was the other one? Stuff like that. They're not good films, but they're enjoyable. So I'll enjoy it. But I think,
look, I just want to apologize about Roadhouse, because anyone that's listening to this episode, I properly ripped it a new one. But in hindsight, it was a lot of fun. It doesn't require much attention. You can really sit back and enjoy the ride. And I thought everyone that was in it did a good job for the way that they were cast. I thought it was well shot, and it was entertaining. I think I was just a bit.
Don't worry,
shocked.
Loads of people hated it. It's on the run to being the most watched, the most popular Prime release ever. Full stop.
Yeah.
Like last year, the films I liked the best, if we take out the Barbie and Oppenheimers and the big hitters, the ones I enjoyed the most were actually majority A24. It was things like Saltburn, Dream Scenario, A24, Cat Person, A24.
I saw that the other day, man.
Talk to Me, A24. You've all these sort of films as well. So, like, I think they were probably the most interesting from last year.
Two things, just quickly on what Drew said. Like, as much as I think they're really sort of flogging a dead horse now with Disney, the only time they're flopping is when they go woke. It's all, without being offensive, it tends to be when they try and read like Madame Web. Like, they try and do these things and cater for an audience that doesn't exist, which is young to middle-aged female superhero fans. Yes, women and men and girls do like superheroes, but it tends to be guys who tend to not give a shit about those characters.
Give everyone a voice. You've got to give have a woman superhero. You've got to have a black superhero, a Spanish superhero.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I just looked at
ridiculous because like Blue Beetle wasn't a big hitter, unfortunately, but I liked that. I enjoyed that. The villain was rubbish, but the actual action and the family dynamic of apologies if I got this wrong. I think they're a Mexican family, and he's the kid from Karate Kid. And I saw it in the cinema. I thought it was really good, but I think Blue Beetle is meant to be a Mexican superhero. They haven't just fabricated it out of nowhere. They've just brought a superhero that is in that
of another country.
It didn't do as well as it should have done because it was, but that's in the midst of the fatigue of these.
Maybe flip that then. Not so much female-led roles, but characters that people don't really give a shit about. Like how many people watch Madame Web when they were younger, or Miss Marvel? It wasn't a thing. It was Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and they're dragging up these unpopular characters, and it's like, and they're putting these actors in crappy movies. Like Sydney Sweeney could have done without Madame Web. I think everyone involved in that movie is done with it as well.
I thought Miss Marvel was quite good. The young girl, the sort of young Indian girl. She was brilliant, and she was one of the best parts of the Marvels when it was the three women. And she came.
I'll give it a watch.
She's good fun. She should be in a film with Spider-Man because they've got the same dynamic. They're really good.
Wasn't she in Doctor Strange though? In the second one, wasn't she paired up with him briefly before she went off and did her own thing? I just want to quickly jump back though. Like, I don't want to isolate James because I don't know if he's seen it, but with Cat Person,
brilliant.
Right?
How good was that?
I didn't know like what it was like getting into it, but I was hooked from the very beginning. But the thing I really like about the film, and something that me and Sarah were talking about, is that how it's almost about this dating world. And I remember this might be a segue for what James was talking about earlier about dating in this modern age, but it's the idea of the anxiety between both parties. So how men feel going into a brand new relationship and the kind of do's and don'ts and what's all right through societal means, and also the anxiety of women and how things escalate or how they think about the worst case scenario. But how it like builds to this massive crescendo is frightening and
it's just out on Netflix now, isn't it?
Powerful. Yeah, man. Right. Guys, seriously, watch it on Netflix.
That's the recommendation from this week from Kev and Drew. It is Go Watch Cat Person on Netflix. It was in the cinema last year and it blew me away. It's got Nicholas Braun from Succession in it.
Succession, yeah, he's brilliant, man.
Creepy in this film. And Amelia Jones is the main part. She's amazing. And this is the film I was mentioning. Remember when I talked about? It was to James talking about Drive Away Dolls. That film? Geraldine Viswanathan. That's the film she's in.
It was when I was in Sweden, but I heard that bit of the conversation that you guys had, and that's kind of what inspired me to go see it. And I remember you mentioned it before, but James, I think you'll really like it, James, especially when you were talking about the concept of dating in this world. Do you know what I mean? In the now with apps and stuff.
Yeah, it's quite creepy.
I'll give it a watch. Just to finish up on that point, just to make it clear, I'm not against female superheroes. I'm against crap characters that no one cares about. And Blue Beetle's a good example. Like, who the fuck is Blue Beetle? People aren't fed up of superhero programs. They're fed up of pointless superheroes. Because, for example, I picked one of the worst rated Disney films in the last few years, which is Morbius, right? We can all agree with that. Didn't do very well. Even after you take out its budget, it's still made like $100 million.
It's not a bad day, is it, at work?
That's insane, isn't it? And that's you'd class as one of their flops, which is just insanity.
But just to jump on what you were saying, James, I know exactly what you're talking about, and obviously how you care for women superheroes. Because just to jump in, I know we always talk about this film, but Spider-Verse Across the Spider Universe, I think, is that what it's called?
Yeah, the girl who plays Gwen in that is amazing. Even though she's not actually in it.
Yeah, but so's the pregnant lady on the bike as well. Like, they've written such brilliant characters in there. They've even got the Indian Spider-Man. And like you're saying, yes, it's great to tick boxes and bring in different cultures, but his character is brilliant and it actually
Scarlet
brings
Witch.
the story along. Yeah. So I agree with
Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, amazing.
Who's Scarlet Witch again? Who's Scarlet Witch again? That is one of the best from WandaVision. WandaVision.
Yeah, she's one of the Olsen twins, one of the Olsen sisters. Sorry, Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, amazing.
I thought WandaVision was one of the best Disney superhero series ever because it's like 2 episodes of like living in the 70s with WandaVision. And what's the guy that comes in with a jewel in his head?
Oh man,
Vision.
Oh yeah,
Wanda Vision.
Yeah. Sorry.
She's Wanda Maximoff, isn't she?
Yeah, Vision.
Just a quick one on her.
It's such a good program. You don't even know it's a super. You forget it's about superhero Marvel for 2 episodes, and then things start glitching and going weird, and the kids grow up really quickly. Like, what the fuck happened? And
But the reason why that was so good is because they brought in her character again, probably. To super nerds and that, everyone knew Scarlet Witch was. I kind of knew who she was, but they brought her in with a franchise that was already really popular and built her character over several movies where she could then go. If they put Madam Web snuck her into a Spider-Man movie, I know she's in a different universe, but if they put her in somewhere else that was already had an audience and then grew her and watch it, it probably would have done really well. But to just plonk it in there and be like, it is a person.
And they need Sydney Sweeney in the new Spider-Man to be like the Spider-Girl. 100%.
Gwen.
No. A different Spider-Girl.
Just to jump off the back of that, sorry, that made me think about No Time to Die, right? Where they tried to bring in a new character to pair up with Bond. And one of the reviews this guy said, which I thought was brilliant, he said, rather than bringing in a new character that's not the most likable just to tick a box, they said, why not use Miss Moneypenny? Because we know her, we care about her, and you can give her a fascinating arc where she joins with James Bond and they try to take down the baddies together rather than just bringing in another character and trying to make it interesting. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's kind of what James was saying, really.
Yeah, like if you're going to bring in some relatively, I might be wrong. Everyone might have loved Miss Marvel or Madam Web when they were younger. It's just not someone I particularly come across. But rather, you need to bring them into things, like, and build them and then give them their own thing. Maybe a TV series would have been better than a movie.
Yeah, probably.
Because you take a punt on a show, and a TV show, you've got 10 hours to build a character, like what they did with the Hawkeye one. In a movie, it would have been rubbish to bring that new character in, the one from Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
Just to drop her into an hour and a half, 2-hour movie.
Stacy in Spider-Verse. She voices it.
Yeah, man. Oh, wow, yeah.
Was she really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. But if they just dropped her into a movie with Hawkeye, it would have been like... But where they built her for like 10 hours, in an hour and a half, you can't build a character in an hour and a half.
Yeah,
hour and 45 minutes. It doesn't work.
Again, because
she's so lovable as well.
I think
and it's got the Florence Pugh in that program.
Yeah, I liked it because it wasn't over the thing of the Marvel fatigue is that it's too many superheroes and big explosions. And I like the fact Hawkeye, he's a superhero, but is he? He's just a guy that's quite good at bow and arrow.
Quite good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
But do you know what I mean? Like it felt like a normal program. It didn't feel like he was about to go flying off somewhere, or an alien zombie was about to attack him. It wasn't going to be mental.
And also,
that's where Disney did a good job on that. I think making it as a movie would have been bad.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, off the back of like Endgame as well, you've put all of those characters through such turmoil, and that they're so vulnerable, and we've seen all their flaws and all their weaknesses. So then when you bring them into a show, we've seen them at their best and at their worst. So we care more about them as they go into this kind of 10 episode kind of,
I mean, I don't know how many episodes it was, but it was about 10, I think.
About half hour plus like 10-minute credits that are like 25 minutes. But
that was a female-led role, because Hawkeye really had a lot of time. He wasn't even in it. It was really the two girls, wasn't it? Steinfeld and Pugh. And they were brilliant when she's eating the noodles or whatever.
That was just before he had that big accident, almost killed himself.
My God. That's why they said he is the best. They were saying he is the most super of the superheroes on the back of that.
But that's a good example of bringing in two completely, because no one knew. Is Haley Steinfeld's character actually in the comic books someone that takes over from Hawkeye?
Who knows?
I don't know. And
wait, is it his daughter?
No, Wanda Maximoff's sister is the other person. Scarlet Witch's sister is the other one. Has she ever been mentioned in anything before?
Don't know.
So that's a perfect example of how you get two new characters. You just do it off the back of someone's already there. Whether it be a male or female.
Someone's missing out on a perfect idea for a Marvel thing. Is that pick the characters, not the superheroes, the humans that we like. You could do a series on Iron Man. Zero Iron Man action. Just him going about his day, how he got his fortune, his dad, his relationship with his dad, and how he got all the money and weapons from his dad and became Iron Man. You could do a prequel, even though he looks older now, but Robert Downey...
I don't think Robert Downey Jr. would ever do another...
But he could do...
You could do a prequel
he's dead.
Series with a younger kid.
I don't know. I think it's the Robbie Downey Jr.
Kind of did that in Civil War, though, guys. They kind of did do little mini flashes and connected his life with his family in Civil War.
It's not just the person; it's the actor. You want Robert Downey Jr. doing something.
Yeah, it's very few parts that can't ever be played by anyone else, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we should wrap up anyway. The only thing we didn't discuss, that's because both of you were going to go and watch at the cinema, and you did not.
Ghostbusters.
Who
are you going to...
Oh, that's A-Team. They're
called the A-Team?
Ghostbusters. I saw it. James Acaster was brilliant. Everyone else was mid. That's it. It's a solid below average for me. I wouldn't watch
it. Nostalgia film, innit?
The problem is too nostalgic. They've brought in old actors for people like us that are in their late 30s or 40s to go and watch it because we remember when we're kids. They serve very little purpose. Dan Aykroyd's in it a good amount, and he's good in it because he owns the shop. But everyone else, pointless them being in it. They only appear for a minute or two.
But mate, Ernie Hudson, could we just have a moment here? He's 78, and he is like, he's hench. He looks so good.
He used to be a police officer, didn't he?
When I'm 78.
He used to be
a police officer.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but
you're not there. He was there when Brandon Lee got pushed out of a window.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he really takes care of himself, is what I'm saying. Like
I saw. Well, we'll finish up in a second. This will be like the last point, and then we can all say our last pieces. But with Ernie Hudson, he wasn't appreciated in Ghostbusters. He was basically the token black guy, and he wasn't liked by production or in fact or given much things to talk about. And I think it was the other guys in the film that bumped him up and made sure that he got more speaking parts and stuff like that, and he was more well respected, and that he came back for the sequel and all these sort of things. And in this film, for this one and the last film, what was that, Afterlife? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
That he didn't want to be the stereotypical black guy that came back, because the thoughts were from his point of view that the production didn't like him and he had a negative opinion of the Ghostbusters because he had a hard time during filming it, apart from the guys. And they said they didn't want him to come back as, oh, it's been rough and, he's down on his luck. Yeah, he'll come back and do a ghost busting thing again. He came back in the new film as multimillionaire, head of a business. He's producing the next line of Ghostbusters. Like, the reason you see James Acaster is because Ernie Hudson takes him to this facility they've been keeping quiet, and James Acaster is one of the little boffins scientists that's creating new things. You walk into this room and there's loads of weird ghosts everywhere, and they're testing them and seeing how they work so they can improve the capturing. That bit was
the original was on BBC the other day, and I actually watched most of it.
Yeah.
And I think Winston's probably, apart from Venkman, obviously, who's the main character in the whole film, Winston's probably, apart from him, my favourite character, because he has a really good sort of comedy thing where, like, he's part of them, but whenever something sketchy happens, he's like, and he's kind of a bit like,
more realistic.
He's not too sure about him, is he? He kind of just wants a job, but he doesn't know if they're a bit mental or something.
He's got a good intuition. He's like, guys, we really shouldn't be doing this. We've got to get out of here. They're like, come on, don't be silly. And he's the brains, kind of, I think.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, he's good.
You got Bill Murray
and the brawn now. He's the brains and the brawn.
Well, that's it. Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. They're the two heavy hitters for the film. They were the reason people went to see it. Well, I don't know as much. I think because of Saturday Night Live, those two are comedy legends. They were part of that team. So people went to the film to see Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. I think Harold Ramis wasn't as big at the time, or not as big of a pull.
Egon's character, though, is so good.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
Okay. He plays a really good, like, creepy dude, doesn't he?
No, it's good. But yeah, new film. Watch it when it comes to streaming. But yeah, we'll wrap up. Drew's got to take a quick phone call, and I
just got to let my wife in because she's locked out, so I'll be 2 seconds.
All right, we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
See you in a bit. All right.
Cool.
See you later, guys. I will do the outro. How do I do the outro? Did it work? Oh, I didn't press the live button. Oh.
This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for listening to Your Movie Podcast.
Fantastic. Right. Gonna grab a drink. Did you have a drink?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you seemed a bit more.
I had like 2 sips, though.
I was gonna say you seemed a bit more wired tonight, which is good.
Right. Bit more what?
Wired. You're like.
What does that mean?
You were like chatting.
Yeah, got
Sometimes you're like quiet, then you shout, then you're down, and you're but yeah, no, that was a good chat. Well, I am still recording. Back off, people.
I'm gonna leave, then join again, so it like saves a bit of battery.
Swish.
I'll back on in like say 10-2.
Yeah. Nice.
This isn't a good angle, is it?
Recorded.